Hello and welcome to Uzreport World News, and my name is Bahram Ghafarov. A 7-kilometer long Sergeli metro line with 5 stations has started operating in the capital city. President Shavkat Mirziyoyev visited the facility on Saturday.
The design of this metro line was started in 2017. At the junction of the line with the metro station Almazar of the Chalazar line, a 580-meter tunnel bundle was laid. Underground and above-ground passages were built. The stations are decorated in a national style, equipped with modern appliances, electronic turnstiles, escalators and elevators. The line will be served by a staff of 214 people and will carry up to 35,000 passengers per day. The construction will continue with the connection of the Sergeli line with the Kuluk line.
Uzbekistan's capital market was under scrutiny at a meeting organized by the Capital Market Development Agency. It discussed the current state of the sphere, as well as factors that hinder the development of stock market. The results expected in the next 5 to 10 years were also touched upon.
Currently, the capital market of Uzbekistan is coordinated by 3 regulators: the Central Bank, the Ministry of Finance, and the Capital Market Development Agency. Ministers of Parliament said there should be a single regulator. On the one hand, the share of the capital market in the economy is low. On the other, the volume of securities in free circulation is also small. The reason for this is primarily the low degree of financial literacy of the population. Ministers of Parliament noted the need to improve the literacy by explaining such concepts as capital, shares and bonds, especially to young people.
Gas-rich Uzbekistan has hiked its near-term targets for domestic renewable energy growth, with a plan to boost solar power generation to 5 gigawatt and wind and hydropower also in the mix. The country hopes that renewable sources of energy will account for 25% of its total energy output in 2030. Despite these ambitious plans, according to the country's energy regulator, the main load is still borne by thermal power plants. The total share of TPP in the total volume of electricity generation to date stays at about 85%.
In 2019, TPP generated 56.4 billion kilowatt-hours of electricity. Compared to 2015, this amount has increased by 20%. The demand is expected to double by 2030 as huge economic transformations are underway throughout the country, and the population needs are growing. 54.15 billion kilowatt-hours of electricity were generated from January to November 2020, which exceeded the forecast by 2.8 billion. There are also many thermal power plants in the region. For example, with the introduction of Telemarjan thermal power plant, the total production capacity has increased to 1.700 megawatts, which made it possible to generate an additional 7.2 billion kilowatt-hours of electricity annually.
In recent years, Uzbekistan has seen a dire rate of divorce among young couples, leaving mainly mothers in a desperate situation without spousal support. Does Uzbek law provide any protection for single moms, and what actions need to be taken?
Currently, alimony or spouse maintenance for one child is 25% of a parent's salary. For 2 children, it's 33%, and half of the parent's salary is divided between 3 children. An ailment sum is derived by taking into account such factors as state of health, number of dependents, and the specific needs of each child. Usually, the amount set by the court must be paid monthly. If the money payment is delayed by more than 2 months, measures will be taken against the debtor in accordance with the current legislation. In Uzbekistan, ex-husbands conventionally bear responsibility to maintain a child or children until he or she reaches 18 years old, and a man can pay all sum in one go. Additionally, the parties may ink a pledge agreement to secure timely ailment payment. Moreover, parents cannot abandon their offsprings without provision. The law only stipulates the termination of parental rights in case of a child abuse and any other law violations. It's very common for ex-husbands to have an informal job that makes it difficult to confirm the presence of an income. The only way to track is cash receipts and expenses. In this case, ex-wives will have to present evidence of a debtor's money flow. If fathers are not officially employed, then the court will study each case separately. The new regulation introduced at the end of November will oversee an alimony payment based on court decisions and the General Prosecutor's order. Today, we have gathered members of public, legislators, and heads of mahallas in Olmazor district. The aim of the meeting is to resolve mainly single mothers' problems on financial support occurring every day. We hope the representatives of public will find the ways to help them.
Deputy Foreign Minister of Uzbekistan, Furqat Siddiqov, met with the head of the Uzbekistan's Trade House in Sudan. President of Mumlaka Investment Group, Musa Mohammed, said on December 25. Siddiqov raised issues of exporting Uzbek products not only to Sudan, but also to other countries of the African continent. The Sudanese side expressed his interest in establishing close cooperation in agriculture, irrigation and education. The sides also discussed the possibilities of launching pilgrimage tourism. According to Musa Mohammed Said, the rich historical, spiritual and cultural heritage of Uzbekistan is of great interest among potential tourists and the Muslim community of Sudan. The Anti-Corruption Agency of Uzbekistan has initiated its own study on public procurement in Jizakh region. The company that belongs to a daughter of Jizakh region's governor snatched 2 street landscaping public bids. The total amount of projects is estimated at more than $191,000. The press service of agency announced that it will provide the public with detailed information upon the study of completion. The agency highlights that system has become more transparent with the start of publishing open data on the public procurement portal. Based on the case of law violation, the anti-corruption body has been studying each matter meticulously and preventing case of corruption.
President Donald Trump on Sunday appeared to be in no rush to resolve his standoff with Congress over a massive coronavirus relief and government funding bill, instead hitting the links at his golf club in West Palm Beach. Trump's refusal to approve a $2.3 trillion financial package, a bill that has been sitting on his desk at Mar-a-Lago over the holiday weekend, caused some 14 million Americans to lose jobless benefits the day after Christmas and threatens to shut down federal agencies due to a lack of funding. Trump, who leaves office on January 20th, came under pressure on Sunday from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle to sign the bill that was approved by Congress last week. Senator Bernie Sanders said, quote, "What the president is doing right now is unbelievably cruel." And Republican Representative Adam Kinzinger said Trump's refusal to sign the bill was difficult to fathom, telling CNN's State of the Union, quote, "I don't get the point unless it's just to create chaos and show power and be upset because you lost the election."
It really is a disgrace.
Trump stunned both parties when he said last Tuesday that he was unhappy with the massive bill, which provides $892 billion in coronavirus financial relief, despite offering no objections to the terms of the deal before Congress voted it through last Monday.
I am asking Congress to amend this bill and increase the ridiculously low $600.
He demanded that Congress change the bill to increase the size of stimulus checks for Americans from $600 to $2,000. The U.S. Congress, which normally is adjourned the last week of December, is now preparing to head back to work. The Democratic-controlled House plans to vote on Monday on legislation providing one-time $2,000 checks to people, but Republican lawmakers are already concerned about the cost of the larger package. Without enactment of the bill, the U.S. government runs out of money at midnight on December 28th. If not resolved by then, Congress must either pass a stopgap funding bill or federal agencies will not have enough money to fully operate beginning Tuesday, triggering a partial government shutdown.
We've come to the conclusion that an individual named Anthony Warner is the bomber.
U.S. Attorney Donald Cochran on Sunday identified the man responsible for the Nashville motorhome explosion on Christmas Day as 63-year-old Anthony Warner, whose home in nearby Antioch, Tennessee, had been searched by FBI agents over the weekend and who died in the blast.
That he was present when the bomb went off and that he perished in the bombing.
The FBI said DNA taken from his home matched samples recovered at the site of the blast. The explosion in the heart of America's country music capital injured 3 people and damaged more than 40 businesses, including an AT&T switching center, disrupting mobile, internet, and TV services across central Tennessee and parts of 4 other states. The owner of a real estate agency where Warner had worked had told the Tennessean newspaper that Warner had come into the office roughly once a month for 4 or 5 years to provide computer consulting services until this month, when Warner said in an email that he would no longer be working for them. 5 Nashville police officers who were on the scene early Friday recalled the dramatic moments ahead of the explosion as they scrambled to evacuate nearby homes and buildings.
I just see orange, and then I hear a loud boom, and as I'm stumbling, because it rocked me that hard, I started stumbling, I just tell myself to stay on your feet, stay alive.
I'll never forget the windows shattering after the blast all around me. It kind of looked like a big prop from a movie scene, all the glass breaking at once.
Prior to the blast, music described by one officer as the 1960s song Downtown by Petula Clark blared from the RV, along with an automated announcement warning about the impending explosion. The FBI said it's too early in the investigation to talk about the suspect's motive.
Wonder Woman 1984 has pulled in about $36 million at movie theaters around the world since its release on Christmas Day, making it the highest box office opening of the global health crisis. An estimated $16.7 million of the box office total came from US and Canadian theaters. However, the film was simultaneously available on streaming services for those fearful of returning to the cinema or unable to do so due to closures. Warner Brothers said millions watched the film on streaming service HBO Max, but they didn't reveal how long viewers tuned in for. Off the back of the film's success, the company confirmed it will fast-track the 3rd installment of the superhero franchise. It will be written and directed by Patty Jenkins, who helmed the previous films, and will again star Gal Gadot. Warner Brothers is planning the same hybrid release strategy for its 17 theatrical movies in 2021. The strategy has angered some top Hollywood directors and cinema operators who had hoped for a rebound in cinema going during 2021. This year has been a disaster for movie theatres, with box office receipts down 80% from a year earlier, according to ComScore. While the latest Wonder Woman film is a relative success, stacking it against the previous installment is telling. Within the US, that movie eclipses its sequel more than 5 times over, having taken in $100 million in its debut there, albeit in 2017, in a world without the global health crisis.
South Africa's health ministry confirmed it had reached more than 1 million cases of coronavirus infections on Sunday. It came just days after the country, the worst hit in Africa, reported a new, faster-spreading variant of the virus. Several hospitals have reported wards overflowing with patients, while many health workers have cancelled vacations to tackle a huge influx of patients. The new variant is referred to as 501v2. Scientists tracking it say it appears to be focused in the south and southeast of the country. They also said it had dominated findings from samples collected since October. Local media reported authorities met on Sunday to decide if a tighter lockdown or stricter rules on public movement was needed. A point of concern is that it took just 9 days for South Africa to go from 900,000 reported cases up to 1 million. As of Sunday, 26,735 people had been reported to have died from the virus.
So far, these were the latest news for today. Goodbye. Take care.